Last week, I was getting a haircut, and my barber asked me, "What do I do?" Told him I'm a software engineer. Then he asked, "Do you use AI for work?" I told him, "Yeah, pretty much every day, especially tools like Claude Code." Then he asked the real question: Can someone like me, who doesn't know programming, can use AI to build apps? And honestly, that is probably the question a lot of people have right now. Can you use AI to build apps even if you don't have a coding experience? So in this video, I will show you exactly how to do that. We will use Claude Code, an AI coding assistant, and we will build a real barber booking app using plain English prompts. This app will let the customers see the services and submit a booking request and let the barber view those bookings. By the end of this video, you should be able to understand how to install Claude Code, start a project, write better prompts, build your first version, test it, debug it, and improve it. Not a billion-dollar startup, but a real working version where you can build your app and later improve upon. Before we jump into the project, there are a few software concepts you need to know. Let's go over them in 30 seconds. Frontend is what the user sees, backend is the logic behind the scenes, API is how frontend talks to the backend, and database is where the app stores its data, and full stack just means that all of these pieces are working together. That's it. Don't worry if these words don't fully click yet. Once we start building the app, they will make more sense. So let's jump into the screen and start from zero.
First, we need to install the basic tools. I will go through them one by one and explain what each tool does. First, install VS Code. VS Code is where we will view the project files. Think of it like the workspace where all the files, apps live. Next, install Node.js. Node.js lets us run JavaScript on our computer. Since we are building a Next.js app, we need Node installed. Then install Git. Git is basically save points for our code, like checkpoints in game, but for software. If something goes wrong, Git helps developers track changes and go back. For this beginner video, we don't need to go deep into the Git, but it is good to have it installed. Finally, install Claude Code and sign in. Claude Code is where we will use to create and modify our app using plain English prompts. You have to install the VS Code extension version of Claude Code because we use the VS Code to build our app. It just install the tool and let's open the project folder and start Claude. Okay, now let's create a folder for our app. This command creates a new folder called barber booking app. Think of this as the home for our app. Now we move into this folder. This tells the terminal cd, tells the terminal this is where we are working now. Now Claude just starts the Claude in this project folder so it can create files, edit files, and help us build the app. Commands can look scary when you're new, but these are simple. Create the folder, move to the folder, start Claude, that's it. We're not hacking into the Pentagon. We are just asking JavaScript to behave, which is somehow harder. Now we give Claude the first prompt. The key here is to avoid being vague. Don't just say build me an app. Tell Claude who you are, what you want to build, what features you need, and you want a simple version 1. So here is my prompt. So I'm a beginner with no coding experience. Help me build a simple full stack barber booking app. Notice the important part. So we said we are beginner, we explained the product, and we even asked it the homepage, how the homepage should look like and what services it should have and all the booking form and how the database should store the bookings. We included the front-end back-end database and also a clean mobile-friendly design part. And most importantly, we asked Claude to explain the plan before writing the code. That matters because if the plan is wrong, the code will be wrong with confidence. Before Claude creates files, I wanted to explain the architecture. So before Claude creating the app, it tried to explain some of the stuff here, what it's doing, like all the front-end files and the back-end files it's going to develop and all the database tables which it's going to develop. If it didn't give you this, you can provide a prompt saying before you creating the app, explain me what's going on, like the front end, back end database, all the booking forms. It's trying to use some jargon like Prisma, migration, SQLite. These all are like related to a database, but if you can ask the Claude, but once it creates an app, let's go through that. Now that the Claude explained the plan, okay, let it create the app. At this point, there is a lot of files it might create. First get version 1 working. Let's see. So npm install. So this installs all the packages the app needs. Packages are reusable pieces of code made by other developers. So and npm Prisma generate. Prisma is the tool that helps our app talk to the database. It's like a connection between database and our app. So right now it created most of the files and we should be good to go. So npm run dev, this actually starts the app on your computer so that you can go and visit your website. So usually gives a link something like localhost and the 3000 port. So once you click on this link, it takes us to the website. So now the app is running, and before we start clicking around the website, let's understand what Claude created. So for this app, there are a few important pieces: the home page, the booking form, the backend API, the database schema, and the bookings page. In the files, the home page is like the front end, the booking form is also front end, the API route is back end, and the Prisma schema describes the database. The Prisma is like we said, like it connects our app to the database. So the flow is like you fill a form, it uses API to store it in the database and also make it appear on the bookings page. That is like the full step flow. Now let's test the full flow. Just because Claude says everything works, we don't assume it works, so we have to test it ourselves. Software has one simple rule: trust issues are healthy. So let's fill the booking form and try to fill in the details and submit it. Seems like there is a bug here. Let's be honest, things will break. That is not even a warning. That is like the software development lifestyle. But seems like Claude already understood like the things are breaking. So it is trying to test something. So let us say okay for that, and maybe it will fix itself. Uh, but the problem is like it is couldn't able to grasp the exact Prisma version. I think it is using a very newer version, but for the node which is using the node version which it is using, it should fall back to the Prisma 5 version, the database schema version. So okay, if it doesn't realize itself like in this situation, you can give a prompt something like I'm getting this error. You can copy this error, like or copy or from the from your error page, and you can say something like I'm getting this error when I run the app, and paste your error and explain what this error means in beginner friendly language. Ask it to do that, and it can explain you what's going wrong, and it can sometimes like what's happening with us, it can fix it itself. So this should be good. Now if we again try to submit the booking form, it works, and on the bookings page it shows all our bookings. So usually this bookings page should be gated by an admin access, so only as a barber we have to see the bookings page, and all the customers should just see the services page. But we have to iterate for that on the version 2 before improving anything in the app, right? Ask Claude to explain the project structure. This is something beginners should do often. So anytime AI creates files, we shouldn't move on. Like we should ask like what's it doing. We can use some prompt like explain this project structure, which files are front end, which are back end, what files are database, and explain all the architecture in detail like this. We don't have to memorize everything. We just need to understand the flow, because if something goes wrong, even if you paste the error message, we need to understand something so that it would be easy for us to develop with the Claude. Once you understand that, the project becomes much less scary. Now that version 1 works, let's improve it. This is where plain English prompting becomes powerful. You don't need to know CSS, which is usually you use to style the pages on your website. You can describe your what you want the app to look like in a plain English prompt. Something like improve the UI to look like a modern premium barber shop website. Use a clean dark theme, a strong hero section, service cards, etc. Like the regular ones which you see, like the black background and the gold font. Let's see what it can do. The last part is important, like do not remove or break the booking form submission, because we already fixed it, so we don't want the code to be erased. When asking AI to improve the UI, tell it not to break the backend and database flow, because sometimes it gets too excited and casually deletes the things that was working. It happened to me personally many times. So very helpful, but also very dangerous. Um, Seems like the new website design which it had is also looking good. The earlier one was like a very minimal, but this one looks like a little professional website. Um, so now let's add something every real form needs, like the validation. So validation means checking whether the user filled the form properly. If someone submits an empty name or like empty phone number or no date, the app should not accept. Otherwise your barber app becomes a confusing generator. So use some prompt like this, add validation for the forms, show friendly error messages. The important idea is this, like front-end validation helps the user immediately, back-end validation protects the app, so both matter. We have added the validation. Let's add one small database improvement. So if we don't have like the booking status right now in our DB, so if someone, let's say, books at some time and the other person also books at the same time, now we just accept that, so we don't have the conflict for the status to for the app to know. Every booking should have a status, for example pending, confirmed or cancelled. For version 1 we will add a default status called pending. This teaches us database migration, which is like you miss something in the database, so you have to move it to the new database, like by adding like the column like we were doing here. It sounds complicated, but the idea is simple. When your app changes the types of data it stores, your database structure also needs to change. So use a prompt something like that, which is like add a status field for each booking with the default value pending, update the database schema, create the required migration, and update the bookings page to show the booking status. Explain what database migration mean in beginner friendly language. So you don't need to use like the technical terms here as well, like I'm doing. You or you can use, you get used to it, you can, but yeah, you can also give a simple prompt like I want to add a status field in the database, and you don't have to be too technical in the prompt, but it helps the Claude if you have little knowledge. Like if you use the terms like database migration, it might understand it quickly, but you don't have to use that. You can just give a regular prompt like add status field, I want to track the status in the database. So here it's using the command something like npx prisma migrate dev and add booking status. So that is how it adds the new status field. So this tells the database like, hey bookings, now we have one more field called status. This is what migrations are for. They help the database evolve as the app evolves. Now that the app is working fine and as expected, we shouldn't stop there. We can add so many other features. So like we should review it, like because the version 1 may not be used by the real people, right? So you can ask the Claude like what we are missing in the app, and it can suggest like some of the improvements. So here I'm using this a prompt like this, like now review this full stack barber booking app like a senior software engineer, and tell me what is good enough here, and what are the front end, back end, and database improvements that are needed, and what are some of the security issues. Like I'm saying, like the bookings page shouldn't be viewed by other customers. It should only be viewed by the admin, like the barber himself. So what should I build next? Do not change code, just explain the architecture. So for version 1, that may be good enough. It has everything. But see, so it says, yeah, maybe admin login is necessary, email or SMS confirmations. um, Maybe we can also add a direct payment like gateway, like not only someone can book but also can add a payment gateway where they start the booking process and just do the payment itself. So yes, AI can help a beginner build a real first app, but real software still needs a little bit thinking from our side.
If you're a beginner, here is how I would learn after building this first app. Get some fundamentals of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and also learn about front end, back end, databases, and APIs, just so that you know what the AI is doing. You don't have to learn all these things before you build anything. You can start building your simple first app and then learn the concept as it appears. So, if you have an app idea, just build the first version, ask the AI to explain everything, and take it from there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.